It was the early hours of July 10, 1999, at Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, Nigeria. Students were asleep, unaware that a premeditated attack was about to unfold. What began as a peaceful night would end in bloodshed, chaos, and questions that remain unanswered even years later. Earlier that year, on March 7, 1999, an incident involving the notorious Black X confraternity shook the campus. After a meeting in Ife Town, members of the group chased students who crossed their path, leading to a confrontation outside Angola and Awolowo halls. The Students' Union, led by Secretary General George Awolowo, discovered Black X members armed with a submachine gun, a locally made gun, axes, and bayonets inside a house in the senior staff quarters. The university authorities were informed, and the students were handed over to the police. Yet, shockingly, they were granted bail 2 weeks later. Weapons seized were later destroyed, and no student witnesses were called to testify in court. Many feared that the cult could act with impunity, and their fears were not unfounded. Campus cult violence had been on the rise since the 1980s, fueled by university-sanctioned militias under the Structural Adjustment Program. Many cult members came from upper and middle-class families, and were often used by the administration to suppress student activism. Despite this, students began mobilizing to demand justice, but their efforts were largely ignored. On the night of July 9, 1999, students gathered at a party near Angola and Mozambique halls. Some returned to their rooms, while others occupied the cafeteria at Awolowo Hall. Around 3 o'clock to 3:30 a.m., between 22 and 40 Black Axe members arrived on campus. Armed with shotguns and hatchets, they left their vehicles at a nearby parking lot and approached Awolowo Hall on foot. The attackers began shouting the nicknames of the student union leaders, demanding they surrender. Chaos erupted. Students screamed and ran for safety. Lanra Legacy Adelaide escaped by jumping from a balcony, and Dexter, the chief of the Khajiits, also survived. George Afrika Iwalade, however, was shot in the head and assassinated. By the end of the attack, 5 students were dead, 11 injured, and the campus was gripped by terror. The massacre was carried out by members of the Neo-Black Movement of Africa, also known as the Black Axe. The group is notorious for campus violence, extortion, and criminal activities both in Nigeria and internationally. Reports suggest that by 2014, they were involved in over 200 murders, drug smuggling, human trafficking, fraud, and other criminal acts. In Italy, they are even recognized as a mafia organization. Following the massacre, the OEU Students' Union demanded the resignation of Vice-Chancellor Wale Omo for failing to prevent the attack. Hundreds of students occupied the administration building. Several perpetrators, including Frank Idahosa, Emeka Ogwagu, and Isaac Akwal, were apprehended. Some, however, had fled the country to continue their studies abroad. During interrogations, Akwal died, while Idahosa and Ogwagu admitted participation, stating the attack was revenge for the March 7th incident. Investigations revealed that 22 Black Axe members from several Nigerian universities were involved, including the University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, University of Calabar, and University of Benin. A judicial commission of inquiry, led by Justice Okoye-Item, began work in late 1999. Trials started at the Osogbo High Court on April 9, 2001. Despite arrests and testimonies, justice was slow. Many of the accused evaded capture, and by 2009, 10 years later, families of the victims and the OEU student body were still crying out for justice, a painful reminder that the wounds from that night had never truly healed. July 10, 1999 was more than a massacre. It was a reflection of failure of justice, administration, and society's ignorance of warning signs. The victims are gone, but their story remains, and the haunting questions of how this could happen and why continue to echo in the hearts of those who remember. If this story moved you, leave a comment. What could have been done to prevent such a tragedy?